everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another Color Wednesday video. Today I'm using this Flutterby stamp set from Lawn Fawn. This is a stamp set that just had dies released for it. It's an older set, but the dies just came out, so it reminded me of the stamp set and I wanted to use it today. I'm going to be creating a shaker card, and the shaker area is a circle. So I took the die that I'm going to end up cutting this cardstock out with and trace that onto some Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is going to give me a guide as I stamp the images from the stamp set, so that I can have all of these butterflies and flowers and leaves sort of nestled in one half of the circle. Because I'm going to have the images overlap, I used some post-it paper or some masking paper and stamped the flower, this flower that I'm stamping now, and also the butterfly and a leaf, and I cut out the masks and used those while I was stamping. So the way you want to think about masking is start by stamping the images that you want to be first or on top of the image, basically the items that you want to be closest to you. So I started with the butterfly because I wanted that one to be on top of everything, and then the next flower, and then the leaves, and then I stamped everything else around it. And once you're done with all of the stamping, you can remove the mask by using some scissors or just the edge of a craft knife and just pull up that mask, and then it reveals all of that beautiful stamping with no overlapping lines. I think it's a really great technique and a great way to use a bunch of stamps all in one area. I'm going to be using Copic markers to color this scene today, so I'm going to turn on some music and speed up the video. after I was done coloring that whole area, I took that same circle die and placed it over this colored scene. And I got it in place and then grabbed some Post-it tape, and I'm just going to tape down the die so that it doesn't move as I run it through my Big Shot machine. This is going to make sure that it only cuts out the area that I want. So I just ran that through my Big Shot machine. And I'm also going to do a bunch of other die cutting today. I'm using the Memory Box Shaker Circle frames, and I actually cut these out once before and then messed up and went back and redid things a few times. So I will walk you through the entire process. So as far as the back of the shaker area goes, I decided to put the greeting in that blank spot. So I took a stamp from Simon Says Stamps for the record stamp set, and I prepped the area with my EK Success Powder Tool, stamped the greeting in Versamark, and then added some white embossing powder. This embossing powder is from Hero Arts. And I heat set that with my heat tool until it was completely melted. And then I set this piece aside while I worked on the shaker area. So after I messed up making the shaker once, I decided to try a different method of putting the shaker card together. I'm using some Be Creative tape, and I'm putting it on one side of some fun foam. And I'm just putting the tape right up next to each other so that I can have this entire surface of this fun foam be sticky. I also did the same thing on some Neenah Solar White cardstock. This is going to be used to cut the frame that goes on top of the shaker area. If you have the full sheets of Be Creative tape, you could definitely use this as well, but I have this big roll, so I decided to just kind of make my own and put those strips of tape side by side. So I ran this through my Big Shot machine with the circle or the shaker circle frame from Memory Box, and I also used the metal adapter plate. And then I used that same die and cut out the fun foam twice. So I have two circle frames out of fun foam, one out of paper. And then I took that circle that I used on the Copic coloring piece and cut out a piece of clear acetate. The card base I'm using today is dark chocolate cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and I scored that at 5.5 to create a top folding card. I then adhered the Copic piece onto the front of the card. And now I'm going to put the shaker area together. So the first thing I did is I removed all that backing paper off of the fun foam frames. And I'm going to be stacking these one on top of the other. And here's where everything kind of went awry. Because this fun foam is pliable and it kind of moves around, I didn't realize that this circle wasn't completely perfect when I put it on the card. So even as I put the second fun foam frame on top and things like that, it's still not quite lining up right. And anyway, so I'm going to show you how I fix that in a minute here. So I ran my powder tool along the inside of those fun foam frames. This takes away some of the stick so that all of the little bits I put in the shaker don't get all stuck on the sides. I filled the shaker with some different sequins. I used a few from Pretty Pink Posh and a few from Simon Says Stamp. And then I also have this really fun kind of iridescent heart glitter from Martha Stewart Crafts. And I'll have all of these linked down in the video description or in the supplies over at my blog. So if you're wondering about any of these little bits that I'm putting inside the shaker, go ahead and check the supply section. To close off the top of the shaker, I need to apply that acetate circle. So I'm using some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte, and I just squirted that out onto some scratch paper and then used my finger to pick it up and smush it all along the foam on the frame. And then I took that clear acetate window and put it on top. And this is when I realized that those fun foam frames had kind of warped and I was barely able to cover the entire surface with the acetate. But I'm going to forge ahead and finish this off and see exactly where I'm at before I start fixing things. So I took the backing sheet off of that cardstock frame and I put this over the top. And this is when it really started to show that everything was wrong. You can see that fun foam sticking out at the top. So in order to fix it, I decided to create a different card front. So I cut some more of that brown cardstock. And now I'm going to die cut a circle and I'm trying to make sure it's in the exact spot as where that shaker is. So I placed the die right where I want it to cut, and then I measured up from the bottom of the cardstock. And I took note of that measurement and then came over to the new card front and made a little pencil mark so I knew exactly where to die cut this circle. So I placed that circle on top, and then I put some Post-it tape on top to make it stay in place, run it through my Big Shot machine. So this is how it's going to look when it's placed onto the existing card. It's going to cover up all of that mess up area from the fun foam. And since I have my die cutting machine out, I also cut a new white frame to go on top, and I embossed that card base. I just used this embossing folder from We Are Memory Keepers and just ran that through for some fun polka dots. And then I had to add some foam around the bottom corners of this new card front so that it would lay flat with the shaker. So I took the interior pieces of that fun foam circle that I created earlier, folded them over, and then adhered them onto the new card front. I also put some adhesive along the old card's white frame, and then put some adhesive on top of that foam. So now I'm going to adhere everything all together, and it's going to conceal all of that messed up shaker card frame that I had previous. So after I had that adhered on there, you can see how warped that circle was. I'm going to take that white frame that I die cut once again, put some Tombow Mono Multi Glue on it, and then I'm putting it right over the top, and it's going to disguise that warped fun foam, and you won't even be able to tell that I had kind of a messed up card before. So I'm glad I was able to salvage this card. I almost had to start over again, but I'd already adhered all of that Copic coloring to the shaker window, and I really didn't want to lose any of all that coloring because I did spend quite a bit of time on it. So when you have mistakes like this, try to think of creative ways to salvage your cards. Most likely you'll be able to figure out something that you can do with it. So here's the shaker card. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching till the very end of the video, you guys. I have 3 more shaker card videos for you to check out. Kind of been on a shaker card kick recently. If shaker cards aren't your thing, don't worry, I'll get back to some regular cards as usual. You can visit my blog at kwarnerdesign.com, and you can visit me on social media at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. Once again, all the supplies used on today's card are down in the video description and at my blog. And thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video.